Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the polls, Husker Nation, brought to you by DPS Concrete Construction. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net, also carrikerchronicles.com for all your Husker sports, hopes, and dreams, because they will come true there. It's just science, ladies and gentlemen. The mega show is back, all right? John Bullock, a Blackshirt, one of only 12, one of only 10 single-digit number earners and wearers on the entire Husker football team, and playing one of the best brands of defensive football of any player in the Big Ten, joins me on the back half of this show, so don't go anywhere. But right off the top, we're going to talk about, will Nebraska be 4-0 in 2 weeks? And if you look at Illinois, they could easily be 3-0 when they come into Lincoln with a win in a rivalry game, a close game, versus a top 20 Kansas team who had 18 returning starters the time they played that game. All right, let's chat, shall we? All right. First, if you believe Nebraska is going to be 4-0 in 2 weeks, smash that like button. Also, as always, we're doing some unique stuff we've never done here before in the Carriker Chronicles. If you don't want to miss it, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell as well. Now, Nebraska and Northern Iowa. Nebraska is a 30.5-point favorite. It's one of those games where you can't have a letdown. You got to stay focused. And here's a tweet that I saw from @SkursNews. You can follow him on Twitter. Okay. So he talks about how Nebraska is a 30.5-point favorite, but he also talks about how Notre Dame was a 20.5-point favorite last week after a big win on the road at A&M, an SEC-ranked school on the road. Week 1, big win. 28.5-point favorite at home, and Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. How does Nebraska avoid a similar type of letdown? Oh, by the way, I'm going to shock you. Notre Dame's not for real again. Who could have seen that coming? Matt Rule. He's the key in weeks like this. He's the key in a short week going into Illinois. When you look at Northern Iowa, they have played, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here with all due respect, they've played Valparaiso so far, and they've played St. Thomas Aquinas. One of those schools is not even a scholarship school. The other one, with all due respect, I thought was a high school. I didn't know they were a college. That's on me for not knowing that, I guess. Okay, so I believe that we're going to beat Northern Iowa, and I believe we're going to cover the spread. And I believe a large part of the reason we're going to avoid a letdown and they will be ready to play Illinois is because of Matt Rule's approach. He talks all the time about getting 1% better every day. The process, embrace the process. Nebraska, for years, day by day, we get better and better. If you're a Husker fan, former Husker alum, you've heard that a million times. There's a lot of truth and validity to that. And I love Matt Rule's spin on it, which is get 1% better each and every day. It's about embracing the journey and enjoying the grind, which isn't always so enjoyable, but embracing and enjoying it anyways. And one of my favorite quotes from his post-game press conference after dominating Colorado was when he said, we're going to treat this game like a loss. And I talk about that with John later in the show as well. All right, and that's how you stay focused going forward. I do believe Nebraska handles business versus Northern Iowa. Now you look at Illinois. Again, Illinois could be 3-0. They play Central Michigan their next game. Nebraska could be 3-0. Okay, when these two teams play Friday, September 20th in Memorial Stadium. Now, I looked at the Kansas game again, and I did a little bit of a deep dive again. The Fighting Illini did some good things in that game. You got to give them their due respect. They're not a pushover, but Kansas outgained them 321 yards to 271. The Jayhawks outrushed the Fighting Illini by over 100 yards, 186 yards to 79 yards. So how did Illinois win the game? They didn't beat themselves. They won the penalty battle also. And give them credit. They found a way to win a close game versus a rival. Give them credit there. Okay, but 4 turnovers. Kansas had 4 turnovers. Illinois had 1. That was the difference in the game. And that's why Illinois won the game. It's a short week. It's going to be a Friday game. Anytime you have a short week, the stats show significantly favors the home team. So I think Nebraska is the better team to begin with. I think Matt Rule is going to take the right approach. We have the advantage of a short week at home versus Illinois. And to be clear, I reserve the right to change my opinion on all of this come next week. Because this Saturday, the ball is going to be kicked off. It's called college football. The ball bounces funny places and all hell is going to break loose. And I do reserve the right to change my mind next week. But for now, I have Nebraska beating Illinois at home on a Friday night and going 4-0 to start the season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to that interview with current Blackshirt and one of my favorite players on the team, John Bullock, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. So shout out to DPS Concrete Construction. If you need a retaining wall built, concrete work done, if this is your line of work that you do, go to dpsconstruction.net. There's no better person to work for than Jason Armstrong. There's no better company to have this work done than DPS Construction. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net. Also, if you're looking for hot tubs, pools, saunas, to have one put in, bonzopool.com is the place to go. If you have these things, pools, saunas, hot tubs, and you need them taken care of, they take care of my family's pool and hot tub. They put them in, by the way. Put our pool and hot tub in. There's no better folks to do this than Bonzo Pool. Check them out at bonzopool.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to that John Bullock interview. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. I got a special guest today. The man is a current Blackshirt, one of the 10 players on Nebraska's football team to earn a single-digit number. He's one of the leaders when it comes to tackles on the team. Had a great game versus Colorado this past Saturday. He's also a 4-time Nebraska Scholar athlete, Sam Foltz 27 Hero Leadership Award winner, 2-time Brooke Behringer Citizenship Team, and 2-time Tom Osborne Citizenship Team Award winner as well. Mr. John Bullock, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I appreciate you taking the time. You're literally in between classes right now, so I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yep,
but,
no problem.
Yeah, man, I want to start right off the top because the Blackshirts, you guys have been playing really well so far, 2 games in. Obviously, you want to keep getting better and all that good stuff. But Week 1, UTEP literally didn't blitz the whole game. Ty Robinson said you guys called like probably 3 defenses over and over the whole game. So against Colorado, obviously there was more variety, but you still only blitzed 22% of the time. How are you guys able to get so much pressure on opposing quarterbacks so far this year?
Well, I mean, I think when you got guys like Ty, Nash, Jamari, MJ that just lead up front, anytime you have those type of guys and that type of guys who go balls to the wall every play, I mean, it just makes our job a lot easier. And you know that they're going to get to the quarterback no matter what, even if we're not bringing the blitz. So just them, trusting them up front is just big time, and having those guys on our team is huge. So
now, you didn't know this. And honestly, I didn't know I was going to interview you until about 20 minutes ago when I got a text from Keith Mann. So I was glad this worked out because you guys aren't my children, so I'm allowed to have favorites. Okay? And Ty Robinson and you are 2 of my favorite players on the entire team, and I'll tell you why. You walked on at the University of Nebraska, turned down scholarship offers elsewhere. You're a guy who redshirted, who had a COVID year, has just gotten better and better and better year after year after year. And now I believe you're in your 6th year, and you're starting to reap the benefits. Again, single-digit earner, only 10 guys on the team, a black shirt, one of only 12 on the entire team, and you're playing really good football so far this year. So I wanted to ask you, okay, what it means to you being a kid from Omaha to go through everything that you've been through, put in that hard work, and now you start to see Nebraska playing good on defense again this year, but starting to get dubs in the win-loss column. Husker Nation's going crazy at the games at Memorial Stadium. What's this been like for you so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. That's kind of the reason that I came back for the 6 years, just because of how much I believe in this team and I believe in this process that Coach Rule is teaching. So just being a part of it and knowing that we have something special this year. I mean, it's been a journey for me. Obviously, I haven't had a winning season since I've been here, so I wanted to come back and prove that we could be one of the best teams in college football this year. And so far, I think we're headed in the right direction, but we still have a lot to prove, obviously, and still looking forward to the rest of the season.
What about Matt Rule helps players like yourself to buy in? Because of all the Power 4 conference teams, Nebraska had the least amount of players transfer out. What is it about Matt Rule that is so easy to buy into for guys like yourself and other players on the team? So guys like Bryce Benhart and a lot of these other players, Nash and Ty, that could have left and done something else, whether it be the NFL or otherwise, to come back. What is it about Rule that you guys have bought into?
I think just his passion for the game and his love for his players. Just the type of fire he brings every single day. You know what you're getting out of him every single day. And I think that all the players kind of saw that and we're like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. I mean, this is awesome. And I think this place is headed in the right direction, which I think it is, and it will be. But I just think just seeing the type of coach he is, and just seeing how passionate he is for the love of the game, just makes everyone want to play for him.
All right, talk to me about a guy like Tommy Hill. This is a guy that transferred in from another school. He's played DB and wide receiver and kick returner, and now he's back at DB, and he seems to be finding his stride this year. He did great in the matchup versus Colorado last Saturday, specifically Travis Hunter. He had the pick 6, which ignited Memorial Stadium. Talk to me about watching a guy like Tommy Hill really kind of come into his own this year.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the improvement Tommy has made over the years. When he first came in, he struggled a little bit, but he stuck with it, and Coach Rule talked to him and said, hey, you need to improve, and he did. He took it to heart and took it like a man, and he's became a great player because of it, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So just super proud of Tommy. I mean, he's came a long way, and he's a very talented player. So if he keeps the right mindset throughout his career, I mean, he's going to be taken off to special places. So
I love that. He said he took it like a man. I love that. That's a great quote right there. All right, so far, you guys have played really well on defense this year. A lot of games to go, a lot of ball left to play. But so far, okay, through 2 games, the defense has scored 2 straight games, safety versus UTEP, touchdown versus Colorado, allowed 17 total points. That's 8.5 points per game so far, 18th overall in the country. 72 total rushing yards allowed, good for 8th in America, 1.57 yards per rush, 6th in the country. 0 rushing touchdowns allowed, which is 1st in the country. 8 sacks, which is 6th. 19 TFLs, which is 8th. 3 INTs, which is 14th in America. So my question for you, because I know Coach Tony White has talked about how good he wants this team to be. Do you believe you guys can be a top 10, top 5, top 3 type defense in the country?
Yes, I believe we can be the best defense in the country. But it all comes with your mindset every single day, having that mindset of where we want to be and want to get to. We don't want to be as good as we were last year. Obviously, we were a good defense last year, but we want to be better and improve every single year. So I think the guys know that, and we kind of understand that, and we're just trying to improve every day and kind of keep enforcing that on each other, just reminding ourselves, hey, if we want to get to where we want to get to, like, this is what we have to do. And I think having all those veteran guys on the defense is definitely a big help, because you can see, I mean, we've had experiences where we've lost games because of whether that's special teams or defense or offense. I mean, I've had a lot of rough games in my career, obviously, and so I'm not trying to have that happen again this year for my last year. So I think a lot of the guys kind of understand that, and we're trying to enforce that upon each other.
Another great quote. I believe we can be the best defense in the country. I love that. All right, last couple questions for you, my friend. Who would you consider to be the leader or the leaders of this defense?
I mean, honestly, we have a lot of guys that can lead. Obviously, you got Giff, who's a great leader, who's been a great teammate throughout my career to me and to everybody else. You got Ty, obviously, but everybody really steps up in their own right. Whenever we need them, they're always stepping up, and whether that's just showing that through their effort or whether that's them speaking up and holding each other accountable, someone's always stepping in on that defense and trying to get in the piece of leading. And I think that's what makes our defense so great, is because we have so many leaders on the team that we can count on and that hold each other accountable, hold other people accountable, the young guys accountable, everybody accountable. So I think that's what makes us so great as a defense.
So just FYI for those folks at home who may not know, of the 10 players who earned single-digit numbers this season, 9 of them are on defense. All right, last question I got for you. How do you avoid what happened to Notre Dame, who lost to Northern Illinois, 28-point favorite at home, and they lost? What's been Matt Rule's message to the team to avoid a letdown?
I think just having the same mindset as last week. It's no different than the last week. I mean, obviously it's a different team, but you can't have a different mindset going into the game, because obviously, just like you said, something can happen like a Notre Dame situation. So you can't get too high off a game. You got to keep the same level head, just stay level-headed and go into the next week and treat it just like you did last week. So, I mean, no team should be treated any differently just because they're better or worse, so there's more hype around a certain game. Every game should be treated the exact same, and I think Coach Rule kind of understands that, and he's already been telling us that throughout the week and telling us that Colorado game wasn't good enough and we have to improve. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now.
One of my favorite quotes from the post-game press conference from Coach Rule was when he said, we're going to treat this like a loss. Talking about the Colorado game, just like we treated the UTEP game. So I appreciate you taking the time to join me, John. I know you got to get to class. Real quick for you fine folks at home, check out bonzopool.com. They've got great stuff, including phenomenal hot tubs. Also, carrikerchronicles.com. If you want to be up for Fan of the Week, you can submit at carrikerchronicles.com. That's where all of our content is as well. But also, you can look for Andy Jurassic Park. Andy Jurassic, he's always walking around before the games. He's got the green Carriker Chronicles hat on. Go say hi. He only bites occasionally. In all seriousness, he will take a picture and listen to why you believe you should be Fan of the Week. 3 questions for you fine folks at home. Let me know your answers in the comments below. Number 1, do you believe Nebraska will be 4-0 in a couple of weeks? Number 2, will the Blackshirts be a top 5 defense at the end of the year? You can just say yes or no to those. And what's your score prediction? You can just send me the score if you want for Northern Iowa versus the Huskers. And until next time, Husker Nation, go Big Red. And always remember,
throw the bones.